Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. Actually, I didn't even load up the dashboard. Kevin, were we ready to go? I think you said we were. I'll just make sure YouTube is running here. That's kind of scatterbraining me. Oh, look at that. Yeah, Kevin did everything perfect. Oh, he's so awesome. And I'll just make sure YouTube. Recording. Yay, good. Okay. We actually, today is Thursday. Welcome back to the crazies of March 2020. Last weekend was Ides of March. I'm getting the feeling like there's some sort of floor trying to be put into the market. Of course, we've had central bankers and governments come out and say, stimulus. We're going to throw a helicopter money at the market. You're not going to go down anymore. You have to go up, blah, blah, blah. I think the latest sort of scuttlebutt du jour is the Fed and the stimulus bailout packages. The question ultimately right now is the corporate debt market. And we had a great report because today is Thursday from Julian, the baby powder report. Thought he did a fantastic job telling us a little bit about what he's seeing in the market today. And, the big conversation right now is why should these big corporations like Boeing and all the airlines and stuff, why should they get bailouts when they've basically spent the past 5-10 years just doing nothing more than taking whatever cash they have on the balance sheet and buying their stock back to boost the stock price, which of course is in the executive's best interest because they all have stock options. Why didn't they take the profits over the past few years and just pay down debt and clean up their balance sheet and make the company solid? So I do believe that there is some sort of bailout package coming, which will probably sort of cement the floor in the market. And if anything, what I've noticed in years gone by, I've been through about 4 or 5 of these crises, is initially the package is sent to U.S. Congress to do the bailouts and all that kind of stuff. And then usually what ends up happening is on the first vote, the bailout package is rejected. Then the market sort of goes, whoa, wait a minute, dead cat bounce is over. We're going to go back down, test the lows. They might even puke out and go to new lows. And then the politicians all come running back. Oh, okay, yeah, fine, we'll do it, we have to, blah, blah, blah. So I've been talking to you guys over the past, I guess a month or so, about looking for some sort of pivot here through the Ides of March, I guess since that January barometer report. But given, the coronavirus is now basically hitting North America, most of Europe is now shut down, and we probably won't see sort of the high water mark of this crisis health-wise for probably another week or so. Here in North America, and you can just feel that the gears of the economy are just grinding to a halt here. And then also too, Crazy Brian and his celestial events. I actually watched a really interesting video yesterday about a guy who said that this is actually the really big sort of we have to worry about this first weekend of April. So put it all together, in essence, prices are oversold. Julian was showing us a number of situations where he likes to follow the TD mark indicator, and it's flashing a lot of these markets are getting exhausted. We're probably near some sort of, at the very worst, just a pause in the selling. And at the very best, maybe we're trying to find some sort of pivot here. What I really do like, which has totally got me jazzed, is you can actually follow, how do I say this? You can gauge who and what assets are really in favor and the strongest by who gets the bounce first. Where does the money go first? Because that's sort of like the safety. You know what? I know this thing's got some value in it, and hey, I've got some money in my hands finally. Whew. Okay, where am I going to put it to work? And what I've seen overnight is crypto has just come alive, which is fantastic because what that says to me is, especially somebody put out a little PDF piece saying, hey, these coins look like you could make some money in them going forward. And a lot of the names just popped instantly, which tells me that I think that there aren't any sellers in the altcoin market now. They're gone. They've been wiped out. And probably a lot of people have like altcoins that they bought way up top a couple of years ago, and they're like, well, I'm not going to sell until it gets back to where I bought it. So there's no point in selling down here. So, we'll go through the list today. Actually, I had a couple names that just went nuts overnight. And I'm like, bear market? I don't see a bear market. This looks like a bull market. So, as I said, excellent report we had out of Julian. Again, this sort of value proposition of TRI. We have a number of different contributors that come on a regular basis to give us their perspectives. And I really like Julian's report today. Also, too, I had put out, and I thought this was really interesting, Jamie, who's another longtime TRI OG. He does a lot of macro analysis work, and he's got a report coming up here on Monday, and he usually comes on about once every 2 or 3 weeks and just gives us an update on some of the data points that he's following. And so Monday we've got a report from Jamie, which I'll be super stoked to tune into. For your guys' conversation, we'll try and keep this relatively, straightforward, simple message. Nothing really changes a heck of a lot here day to day. We had our Empire Fractal fire on the US dollar index there about a week or so ago, and it's just gone absolutely ballistic to the upside. And this is, in essence, the classic barometer of the market is really scared. And I did see that, a lot of I remember I was talking about wanting to short the damn euro, and now look at the euro's actually gone to new lows here. Oh, my face bomb. Drive you crazy. I mean, I didn't get any entry there. I suppose I could have empired that, but oh my goodness, I can't take that kind of risk. I'm too chicken shit. And look at this goddamn thing has actually now gone and broke those lows. And I still think that the euro, in my opinion, is a piece of crap. I'd be really surprised if the euro even survives over the next 10, 15 years. But we'll see what happens. Also, too, you've heard me talk about Canadian dollar. I'd be surprised if Canada even exists 20 years from now. But we'll see what happens. Only time will tell. So I won't even show you the Canadian dollar chart, but you can see yen, euro, they're just getting out of everything. And usually that's the hallmark that, wow, this market is really scared, when all they want to do is just run into US dollars. And, this is also a really good commentary on the idea that, maybe you're going to get a crappy rate of return on your short-term money market funds. But, hey, at least you got the cash. When, if we do go into Great Depression kind of thing, you're going to be damn thankful you had that cash to survive. I don't think we're at that point. I think I've told you guys recently, I think we're in this kind of environment now. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of pivot here and we actually work our way higher after this month of March is done. And we work our way higher. If I'm not mistaken, the Japanese are really hell-bent on getting those Olympics going. Maybe that'll be sort of the feel-good moment. Once that Olympics are done, then we go back into worrying, okay, what does this COVID look like heading into the fall of this coming year? And that's probably, if we're going to get any sort of real, oh my God, Great Depression kind of talk, it's going to be through that dump. So not really at a point where I really want to take much risk here, to be honest with you. I keep looking at things like the Canadian stock market and wondering whether I want to go and take a nibble here from my retirement account off the big indexes, because they've just absolutely collapsed here. But I'd like to get through the end of this month, and I'd actually like to see some W's come in here, please. Thank you very much. Anyway, as it is right now, you can see they're trying desperately to hold on to these lows from last panic low there in December. Remember that Christmas dump? So it looks to me like the higher ups, I had sort of posted out tweets and stuff. It looks like we have a All you YouTubers should remember that. Kind of a na-na-na-na-na kind of action going against these lows. We'll see if they hold. We were joking in the Daily Brief today. Trump's latest press conference, he didn't say anything stupid. And so as a result, the market's relatively happy. Say something stupid, and we can see this market roll over hard again. So we'll see what happens. A little bit early to call a bottom here. And as I said, I want to get through the month end before I start getting too bullish of anything. On the flip side, bonds are actually enjoying a bit of a rally. We've been talking a little bit about this recently. Bond market's kind of groaning a little bit, seeing all this supply coming down the pike. And you could argue on a clothesline basis, this level right here, the close on the bonds there, 176.21. That's going to be a huge battle point. If I was wanting to short this M top, that's probably the level I want to short. So we'll see what happens here. I think it's a little bit early, and again, going through this crisis here, do we really have to take any really big bets here over the next week or two? I don't think so. Let's just let the market settle down and find bottoms and W's and stuff, and away we go. Gold, same sort of thing, just sort of floundering here, trying to put in a doji against these lows. Is this a na-na-na-na-na level? Sure looks like it to me. But we're way too early to start actually thinking about this thing turning. And what I wouldn't be surprised is, big bailout packages, all that kind of stuff. They're going to go through the political process right now, and this is often a back and forth. And as I said, in previous crises, I've seen where the initial bill goes through Congress and it's rejected. And, of course, that's going to be like, the sky is falling, it's deflation, equity prices are collapsing, blah, 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 blah. Maybe gold has to still probe a little bit lower here before we have actually bottomed. Also, too, what I'm concerned about, and this is, we talked a little bit about this in the Daily Brief today, has this gold-oil ratio maybe gone a little too far? We have crude on the bottom here, and you can see, when they throw the baby out with the bathwater, they sure do. Gold, you can see we had a pretty big spike up here in the spread between gold and crude. How many barrels of crude oil does it take to buy 1 ounce of gold kind of thing? And just look at this chart. Just look at it. Is that the kind of market you want to come in on the long side of gold and short oil here? I don't know. I don't think so. And I'll tell you, I know people, and this is 30 years in the market. You can see the clear breakdown in the crude oil market. There's no sugarcoating this. This market has broken. Notice how we're just now starting to M out on the gold price. Maybe crude has to back up here a little bit and do some backfilling, but oh my goodness, that gold chart looks horrible. I know people want to be bullish of gold, and that's cool, but I'll tell you, I'm not buying commodities. I'm just not. I'm not going to do it. I did include a commodity proxy in our conversation with you guys here today. If you want to trade these oil stocks, totally fine by me. I won't be because, as I said before, I'm not really jazzed about the oil industry anymore. But I thought this was interesting. What stocks are rallying? Hey, funeral home stocks. Oh, wonderful. And we've been watching this one. Of course, I bought this here and got stopped out when we dumped through that panic. Oh, wonderful. I don't know whether I really want to chase anything here, but if we do dip back down into reload zones kind of thing, you notice there's a gap here from yesterday's close to today's open. I might take a look at him again. He's in the funeral home business. How exciting is that? And if anything, I think this is an excellent testament. I think we were heading in a good direction here, but this little sort of coronavirus, macro driver event, it broke the Russell 2000. The big indexes were in free fall. And so a lot of the names that I had really good looking bottoms working against, I think I showed you that apron stock. Oh my God, what a nightmare. It didn't, not nightmare, that's not that. Just woulda, coulda, shoulda. That stock went absolutely nuts. And it turns out I was just stopped out by one tick, jerks. So, gee whiz, here comes more W's in these little ones that we like. But, Here's that REI, which I really like because they're actually making money. You can see the potential W coming in here. I wouldn't fault anybody to take this trade and look for 50% retracements, but as I said before, I'm not really jazzed about commodities anymore. If anything, this is the area I want to. If I'm going to be investing money, this is the area I want to be investing in. So nice dovetail, and for whatever it's worth, I looked at all the crypto stocks this morning. I don't see any bottoms yet. They're probably a lot like this REI, trying to bottom, but just not there. I thought it was interesting, for crypto people that are interested, that Galaxy, which I had a bit of it broke down. I bailed, and then I saw that Novogratz came in, and he was desperately trying to put a bottom in his stock. So interesting times. Brian, I like my W's. If I see W's, I'll buy them. If I don't, I won't. Now, let's get specifically to the corn. Been talking to you guys recently about, panic dumps, all that kind of stuff. Interesting how we had chaos levels painted to the downside. I don't even know where. There's our 877 sitting at 29.99. On the downside, but I do like, and I was pointing this out, and I think I even put a tweet out to it, when you see these M's and W's come in, this sets up our little sort of chaos theory. So I can, believe it or not, call me crazy, many people do, but if this is the bottom and this holds, it's actually painting an upside objective of 11,578 on the corn. Woo, wouldn't we all like to see that? Probably a little too early for me to get too jazzed about the bull side. Wicks and tails like to be eaten. If I was going to be hunting trade location, it's probably somewhere down in here. I think I've told you guys recently too, what I'd really like to see is I'd like to see a momentum divergence here to actually tell me that the bottom is in. I don't see that yet. What I see is dead cat bounce after calamitous collapse. We've rallied back into short-term moving average resistance. We often see, here, for example, rally into a short-term moving average resistance, but then have to roll back over as the 30 SMA sort of stops that bull slide. So, and the same sort of thing, 13 EMA, 30 stops the slide, 13 EMA cross into 30, then back down. Maybe not the best example right there. But anyway, point I'm trying to make here is you can see 13 EMA is basically my resistance line here now. Interesting how that's an old chaos level. And people were even pointing out that, gee whiz, if you had picked up some Bitcoin here in the 3,000s, up in the 6,000s, you're actually starting to talk about doubling your money. So don't be surprised if we actually see some profit taking in here. As well, too, if we think about things like first stop targets, Ray Burchett, and why we want to follow 38.2s closely, I might make the argument that this is going to be a bit of a stiff wall of resistance. So, and you can go check this out. If we go AB, just even right off of that range, and CD off of this higher low, that takes us into, what's that number? 65, 6,600. So into this area, makes sense. I mean, hell, we could have a spike all the way up here. I doubt it, but we could. Market will do any old damn thing it wants. I would call this the dead cat bounce. That's what's going on here right now. You can see the moving average relationships are all still pointing down. And sometimes when these moving averages get really far apart like this, we actually have to have a little bit of backup so that these moving averages can come back together again, right? Really wide, narrow. Really wide, narrow, crossed. Really wide, narrowed. So I'm thinking that we're in kind of a narrowing period for these moving averages. So, not, and then again, remember, here is our April deadline. I mean, you never really know how this crap's going to play out, but my hunch is probably something like that, and maybe this move, that lower low there, creates a divergence in the momentum indicators. But I would like to see some sort of anecdotal evidence. Right now, all we're doing is just bouncing straight off the lows here. You could make the argument that we had one student years ago. He really liked to follow W's in OBV. And if you have a W in OBV, although it's not really pretty, but actually this is Willie, isn't it? Let's put on RSI. There we go. And a W in RSI at the same time. He liked to call these Davos. You probably know who I'm talking about. And I think that that's working here now. So you can see down, up, down, then a cute little W right there. Down, up, really kind of sloppy M. Low was higher than this low, and then up. So we got little W there, little W there. And really, I think what Dav used to do, and of course you can always check in with him, is he would try and find whatever sort of structure there is here and just do a 2-to-1. I'm almost thinking, just looking at this, like it's something along there to there, and then 2-to-1 is up to there. So, rally right back to 30 SMA. What a shock. And the original fail point. This is a really good lesson for all of you. We cleared through these highs. Remember, we had said for a few days that that was a trading range. If we can get up through these highs, then look left, and you can see that that's all open air. So it wouldn't surprise me if you see the corn back up in the 7,000s here in the not too distant future. Also, too, just sort of finish off your kind of thought here this morning. We have been watching all the majors. You can see the little W's in things like Ethereum, W's in Litecoin. So market's enjoying a nice little rally here. You can see 13 EMA is still a little bit higher there on Ethereum, right around 150, which would probably be a test of that high. And then Litecoin, I'm not quite sure where moving average resistance is here. Where are we here? There we are. All right, so 13 EMA there's 42, 43, also again up against that high. And then look left, you can see there's not a hell of a lot of room for that look left. Probably come back down to this downtrend line kind of idea. But I do like the idea that, she's got a bit of a bid behind her. And what I also like, as I said there a little while ago, is where did the money go when the market sort of was like, okay, we can put some money to work. Man, it came into crypto hard there, which is great. That's fantastic to see. Also, too, we've been sort of musing, is this some sort of big harmonic pivot? And I don't know. Somebody was a little critical of me the other day, and I actually spent some time and gave the person a really serious response. I mean, I'm not here to tell you, oh, buy now, you're going to make money. Sell now, you're going to make money. What I do is I just sort of, 30-year veteran, I just tell you what I'm seeing in the market. If it's of value to you, great. If it's not, I'm not going to be offended if you don't find an interest in it. But, I had been watching this massive potential Gartley pattern. And is this a Gartley? Is it a bat? That's another conversation. But we've been sort of musing about some sort of pivot here against a test of these lows. And if we can hold and turn here, well, actually, it's suggesting if this is a harmonic pattern, then we got to work our way back up top here. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm just telling you, hey, you know what? This has caught my attention. We'll see what happens. Only time will tell. And most importantly, everybody, you have to define what are your 3 unrelated reasons that get you to act. I thought it was great today. Julian, working with him for a few years, he likes some of the tools that I use. He dislikes others. He's found some tools that he really likes to use. And he's fit his trading plan to his own personality. Every trader has to go through that. You just have to. So, of course, it's extremely dangerous for anybody just to blindly buy. Hey, this guy on social media says it's a buy, or this guy on social media says it's a sell. That's just asking for trouble if you ever do that. You have to build your plan. You have to follow your plan. You have to trade your setups. And, of course, you have to take appropriate risk. And actually, somebody even in the lounge this morning said, I never would have been able to do this without meeting you, Brian. And this is exactly why I do this. Is that, I've accumulated all this information over the past 30 years. I'd hate to die and it all just go to rat shit and be pointless. And you can hear Kavarkinator's telling me, Brian, we don't want a doctoral dissertation here today. But please understand that really what I'm here to do is help. If some of the stuff that I've learned over the past 30 years can help you, awesome. That's my purpose in life. And so comments like this, it really touched me, and it just made me feel like this is the whole reason why I'm doing this, guys. Anyway, back to our little conversation here today, if I can find the chart. As you can see, I follow a lot of stuff. Where are we? Okay, yeah, here we are. So, wow. Like, this is what I'm talking about in crypto. Somebody came out overnight and said, hey, these are some coins you ought to take a real good look at. I think they can do well. And kapow! I mean, these markets are just launching themselves higher. And the irony of it all is you look at this chart, you might think that that's a big move, but if we zoom out, the irony of it all is that, I don't know, you tell me. Yeah, I'm not even saying we go back to ICO kind of prices. I'm just saying we'll go back to the highs that we saw there in maybe like that 2018 kind of peak. My hunch is we probably wicks and tails like to be eaten. You can see those wicks up top there. You can see probably some traffic against these highs, but I don't know. What letter of the alphabet does this look like? To me, and especially if we go to something like a weekly chart. I mean, you tell me, what letter of the alphabet does that look like? This is the kind of shit that I want you guys to see and learn and do. I mean, hell, even if you took this weekly W, it translated into a nice rally. So get out there and hunt these names. This is happening right now. Maybe find that gentleman's hot list. But the problem is, don't chase. Don't chase, don't chase, don't chase. Buy the goddamn W and live with the results. So, to that end, I had this really fun little one here. We've been following on the site in earnest for a while now. You can see the weekly W's trying to form here. You can see if we go to the daily chart, I love this because we have like reload zones. We have an original W. We actually have the original W breakout level right there. Look how they brought the market back down. And a big old W has come in here. And what I love about this one, too, is we've also broken the downtrend line. So our rule at TRI is don't take that trend line breakout. Wait for the W on the other side of the trend line. Hello. I'm telling you, people, I love this market right now. This looks sex-alicious. So get out there and have some fun in altcoin land. Ironically enough, not a hell of a lot to get excited about in the stock market. A lot of these companies, it's corporate debt that's killing them. If you are going to buy stocks in the stock market, try and find stocks that have no debt and they're trading less than cash on the balance sheet. That's an easy no-brainer buy. The great part about crypto is they don't have debt. So, I might argue that these are commodities. So in essence, we have to try and figure out what value is and cost of production. And, one easy way for you to find value is just look for names that are basically flatlined and are still alive. That's a good sign. All right, I think I'll leave the free broadcast at that for today. Enjoy the market if you can. Crypto kids, looks like we got a bit of a pivot coming into the market. So, whew, have yourselves a great day. All the best, and bye for now.